All right, here we go. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Hey, how you doing? Thanks for downloading the show. Welcome to Garden Fork Radio. My name is Eric. I'm your host. Today I'm with my co-host Rick. It's an eclectic DIY show. Today our main topic is I don't want to connect my dishwasher to your stupid cloud.
Good morning, my friend. How are you?
I'm good. I have no complaints.
Excellent. Where are you? Where do we find you this morning?
I'm in Brooklyn. I'm in my living room with my home office, which consists of a piece of wood and 2 sawhorses.
Okay. Well, that's as good as any.
Yeah. There's, for some reason, every once in a while the YouTube algorithm works correctly. And there's a guy named Jeff Geerling who has 3 YouTube channels. They're all interrelated. His main channel is kind of Raspberry Pi, Arduino related. His second one is stuff that's not related to that, but still electronic. And his third one is him and his dad, from what I can tell. And they all, I just, for some reason, the algorithm showed me a video of his called "I Won't Connect My Dishwasher to Your Stupid Cloud." And it's a picture of the top of a Bosch dishwasher with the words across the thumbnail calling it "Internet of Dumb." And it's a great video. It's basically Jeff, and he has a real talent here because it's mainly just him talking to the camera for 11 minutes. And for someone to capture your attention for 11 minutes on YouTube is pretty good because it has, he has only 93,000 subscribers on his second channel here called Level 2 Jeff. And the video has 1.3 million views in 3 weeks.
Wow.
And it's all about, he had to buy a new dishwasher. His dishwasher, which was 20 years old, finally died, and he researched, and Consumer Reports highly rated the Bosch 500 series. And he liked that it offered like a rinse cycle because he has 5 kids, and you can just kind of rinse everything so it doesn't smell, but not run maybe it's not full yet.
Right.
You can just rinse everything off, and then, so it's brilliant because to use all the full features of the dishwasher, you have to download the Bosch app and connect the dishwasher to your home Wi-Fi so it can connect to the Bosch cloud.
That's
and to
crazy
me, that's
talk.
an incredibly unsafe thing to do.
That's crazy talk.
And he talks for 10 minutes about how stupid that is. And all he wants to do is use the rinse cycle. And it's very dry and it's beautiful. And there should be a law against this.
Yeah, when I was watching it, it was not an option, but if you wanted to use certain features, which really are just part of the dishwasher, you had to download the app and use it. And that always makes me very suspicious whenever to get something that's really standard, you got to download the app to get it. I would be a little upset. He certainly is.
Well, he took care of it. He got 1.3 million people to not buy the Bosch. It's just, to me, it's all about just gathering your data and selling it to a marketer. I think that's what it is.
I think that's what it is, yeah. I mean, they're not trying to really get into your home, but they want to know how many times you use the dishwasher and what cycles you use, and whether you're using a rinse agent or not. There are lots of things they can collect from it, and then also where you live, and probably some demographics about you just from where you live and your income level. Whether you live in a really nice part of town or just a middle class part of town. That's it. They're always getting something. I am to the point now where I am deleting from my iPhone and my iPad every possible app that I can that I don't use on a very regular basis, and I even eye some of those with a bit of a jaundiced eye as the ones I use regularly, and say, do I really need this? I will. It's always better to go to the website and log in there than to have the app sitting in the background collecting data and shipping it off to who knows who.
Yeah, I just find it so frustrating. I have a Bosch dishwasher. I think it's older than this one in the picture because my buttons are on the front rather than the top, but maybe, I don't know, I'll have to look at the model number on it. But I just have a hard, why does your refrigerator have to be on the internet so it'll tell you whether you need to buy eggs?
Yeah. In order to get the stove, we've talked before about the induction stove we bought. And in order to get the model I wanted, I had to accept the fact that it has both Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. And I just don't turn them on, which is always a possibility. And obviously I can't use the GE app if I don't, but yeah, my stove has an alarm on it that chimes when the timer is set and it's finished, it's counted down. I don't need to know that it's already reached baking temperature, say 350, because it chimes on the stove. I don't know. These are answers to questions that nobody asked. It's just the feeling is if you don't have an internet connected device, you're somehow at a loss.
Yeah, I have a dryer that my neighbor was throwing out, I think 15 years ago. And he said, oh, the drum doesn't turn anymore. And I'm like, it's the belt.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, we have a new one coming today. I'm like, I'll take your dryer. And it's just a motor and a thermostat and a very analog clicky timer, that says, high heat, low heat, how many minutes,
Right.
And the wheels that a dryer drum roll on, they're rollerblader wheels,
Yes.
And you can still buy rebuild kits for dryers. So keep your dryer as long as you can.
Yeah, I think our dryer is close to 15 years old. We had to replace our clothes washer recently. The transmission on it was close to 15 years old too. Transmission on it finally gave out, and the guy came and he looked at it and he says, it's going to cost you almost as much to repair it as to replace it. And I said, okay. And I purposely did not get one that had a Wi-Fi or Bluetooth or anything like that. It makes a pretty little chime when it's finished, and that's all I need. That's all I need.
The key thing with washing machines, as far as extending their life, is if you're putting like a big quilt or comforter in there, put it on the medium spin speed. You could kind of go into a manual mode. You can pick, at least on the LG, you pick short wash, and then you can pick hot or cold or warm water, how many minutes, or the soil level it's going to spin for. And then you can pick a spin speed and pick medium or low. And it won't beat up the drum and the motor and the transmission nearly as much then. Because I've seen where you just put it on automatic mode, you throw in a giant thing, because you've got a blanket, and then the blanket soaks up a ton of water. That's a very heavy object you're trying to spin around really fast to whip the water out of. And it's easier just to, put it on a clothesline in your yard or your basement and let it dry. So it drips a little water, big deal. But you'll save a lot of wear and tear on your washing machine, and that's a lot more expensive than your blanket.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't want to sound too stereotypical here. First of all, I do my own laundry, all my underwear and everything for the most part, and go around and gather up bath towels and whatnot. So I'm capable in that way. I don't know if She Who Must Be Obeyed actually puts big items like that in the washer or not. One of the options is always just to go down to the laundromat. And when I have something that's really bad, I'll go down to the laundromat and pay a few dollars to get it done there. But I that's a good advice to go for a lower speed setting. Our new one, and for the life of me, it's a Whirlpool. That's what it is. Has something I'd never seen before. We had gone, I guess, almost these 10, 15 years without an agitator. That center thing in the center of the drum.
Yep.
And this one has one, but it's removable. And I cannot, for the life of me, figure out whether it's better to use the agitator or not use the agitator. I mean, it swirls stuff around, and we have a glass lid, which is a new form of entertainment in our house. Just standing there watching the watching the washer and the clothes cycle around and stuff. And I've tried 2 different loads with because that's how new it is. I've only done 2 loads with the agitator in it and without the agitator in it. And I can't decide which is better. And I really haven't been able to find anything online. So if people have an opinion about that, let us know. I guess the no agitator would certainly be good if you had a big bulky object like a quilt or a blanket or something. Probably easier to get things arranged in there. But other than that, I have no idea. So,
Yeah. The front-loading washers are your clothes. It wears the clothes out less than a top loader. So if you have a front-loading washer, your clothing will not wear out as quickly as a top loader, I am told.
I didn't know that either. I guess it's a little late. I've already bought a top loader. We've always had just top loaders, and of course a side-loading dryer.
Yep.
Yeah, but our dryer is ancient. I tried to replace the rollers once, and I screwed it up so bad I had to call the repairman. And I judge my repairman by whether or not they snicker at me when they see what I've done. But I watched him, and I saw, oh, that's the trick. And so essentially I paid a repairman to educate me about exactly how that's done, and paid close attention. And so now I can do it myself. And I replaced them in our dryer recently and didn't have any problems at all. It's a very simple process. And then, like you say, it's just a belt and a manual timer.
Yeah. If you want your clothes to last longer, as far as colors, or if you wear black clothes like someone we know, wash them and dry them inside out. And the black stays black much longer.
Oh, wow. I hadn't thought about that either.
Yeah.
Because I've done that. I've started to, I've really tried to simplify my wardrobe, particularly since I don't have to dress up professionally and go to work and whatnot. Black T-shirt, black shorts, black underwear, black T-shirts. The socks, I bought a lot of one kind of sock. It's all the same
I did that,
color. Yeah. And then I have kind of sock footlet things for the summer, and they're all exactly the same because it really doesn't matter in the end. And I just figured out how much time I used to waste, separating whites from darks, and then the socks matching the pairs and that kind of thing. Just take them, drop them in a drawer, and that's it.
Yeah, when they're putting the paddles on your chest for the defibrillator, they're not going to comment on your socks don't match, Hey, this guy's socks don't match. Hey, look at that. Yeah. Clear.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on. I had a little trauma the other day.
Yes, you did.
I was coming back from the airport, which is way down in Suffolk County near the North Carolina border. On some little roads, and it was kind of late in the afternoon, and it's spring, at least here in southeastern Virginia. And came around a corner, and there were a herd of deer crossing the road in front of me, and it was obvious something was going to happen there, because when I came around the corner, it was just too quick. And so the conventional wisdom down here is to hit the deer. Poor deer, but hit the deer. But when you're driving a Prius that's low to the ground and has a very sloping hood,
Yeah.
I think that's dangerous because you kind of knock the legs out from underneath the deer, and then you got a 150-pound of body coming through the windshield, which has happened to a lot of people around here.
Yep.
And so I tried to steer to the right, and I missed the deer completely, just by just inches. But I was off on the shoulder with two wheels, and they don't waste any money down county on building shoulders over culverts. The shoulder ends and the culvert starts. And I was right there at Dragon Swamp, and the back of my car fell off the roadway as we went over the culvert.
Yep.
And then it dragged the rest of the car down, and they had these huge pipes running underneath the road, and just ripped the entire bottom out of the car. And the dogs and I ended up on the far side, stuck in the mud. Fortunately, Dragon Swamp was low this time of year. Sometimes it can have as much as 6 to 8 foot of water in it. And I was so happy. And it brought to mind, not immediately as I was doing this, but it brought to mind that you had mentioned in one of your newsletters, your cool, was it neat things, cool things?
Cool stuff.
Cool stuff, that's it. A little device, mine are warning yellow, and it's a glass breaker and a seatbelt cutter. It's called a Rescue Pack, or Rescue Me Pack, RESQME. And because this region uses the ditches on either side of the highway for storm drainage, sometimes they can be really 6 feet deep, and you just fall off into them. And if they're full of water, you got a real problem sometimes. And in an all-electric car, you do have a problem because things start shorting out pretty quickly. And I have them zip tied to the windshield wiper stalk. And I was so happy to have that on my car, even though I didn't need it to get out because
Right.
I didn't turn upside down. But I was thinking, boy, you just were reading my mind when you put that in the cool stuff article. And so you can get those from. Do you have them in your store on Amazon?
Yeah, and I'll link to it in the show notes here.
Yeah. Everybody should get one for each car. Put it someplace where you can see it. Don't put it in a glove box.
No.
And then to keep it from swinging and hitting the steering column, zip tie it out a little farther on the stalk, and you'll be okay. It won't tap. But someplace where everybody in the car can get to it, break a glass, and cut the seatbelt to get out of a car if you're in the water or you're upside down or the seatbelt unit jams, just in case. Because boy, I was not expecting it. I've had them in the last 3 cars I've had, and this is the first time I've ever thought that I might need it. And you just never know. And they're cheap. I mean, I think you can get 2 for $15.
Yeah, so let's go over this little device. It does 2 things. It cuts the seat belt, which is a very difficult thing to cut. And if you're in an accident or you're upside down, or perhaps the seat belt latch thing has been crushed against a seat or something, you're stuck in here, and then your car's filling up with water. It's basically an incredibly sharp razor blade within a plastic housing, so you can't, like cut your finger off, but you hold the seatbelt taut and you pull it across widthwise, and you can cut the seatbelt so you can release yourself and whoever else is in the car. And the same little device has a tiny, I don't know if it's quite a drill bit or titanium or just a very sharp nail, but car windows, if you just hit it with your hand, it's not going to break. But if you use a point device, something very pointy and sharp, you can shatter the side window maybe even the windshield itself,
No,
and crawl out.
the windshield is almost impossible to shatter.
Okay,
But
so it's the sides then.
it's
Yeah.
the side window, and the weakest point in the side windows is at the corners. So if you go to that front left or front right corner down where it meets the post and hit it there, it will shatter the entire window.
Yeah.
And
I've seen a video about this. Some guys who, I think that, well, the channel kind of went belly up because of a long story, but they would be, they would look for missing people in ponds and lakes, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And they did a demo. One of them got in a car and they dropped it into the water, and they used one of these little pointy things with the blade. They cut their seatbelt. They had a GoPro, you know, and then they put the little nail prick thing and opened up the side window, you know, shattered, and they got out. So I'm like, you know, for $10, sign me up, you know?
You bet. And this is the device I prefer because it's spring-loaded, it's compact. You just press it against the glass, and it will shoot that little piece of hardened steel into the glass at a sufficient force to break the window. They make other devices that are very similar that have the seatbelt cutter, and they're shaped like little hammers, and they have a point on them. And those are probably good if you have enough room to swing the hammer, and if you and have the strength to do it, and if you're capable of doing it, if your arm's pinned or you've broken it or something, it's going to be a tough thing to swing. And it also means you have to be more precise about where you land the blow with it than using one of these things. I like to say for $10 a piece. Actually, I'm seeing here 2 for $16. So that's it's really a great safety device, and they're unobtrusive. If you really don't want the warning yellow, they come in all kinds of colors. But I like, safety devices need to be bright colored, and so I like that.
Hey, guess what I'm going to ask you about? Did you sign up for my newsletter yet? You didn't? There's still time. Well, there's time whenever you have time, actually. Go to the gardenfork.tv site. There's a sign up floating around on every page, or there's a link in the notes to this episode of Garden Fork Radio. It's kind of fun. I like writing the newsletter. It shows up. People seem to like it. People reply and go, "Oh, hi, Eric." And you could get the newsletter, and then you could hit the reply button. You go, "Oh, hi, Eric." And maybe send me a picture of your dog or your garden or your project you're working on. Think about that. Email from Eric once a week, usually. Sign up below or at gardenfork.tv. So we have a huge list here, but I was kind of thinking what would be the most bang for the buck for our last topic. And I do want to share information about how I keep Spiker from having car anxiety. So we want to talk about your pup who's doing the sundowner thing?
Oh, yeah. Bhutan, she's a little terrier. She's the love of my life. And she's getting older. She was rescued, so we think she's about 16 or so. And she's getting a condition called sundowners. And you can look it up, but in dogs it manifests itself with kind of strange behavior at night, just standing and staring at a wall for hours at a time. She doesn't do that, but what she does do is wake up with just anxiety, usually twice a night. Lately it's been around 1 o'clock, and then at 4. And she'll just whine and whine and whine. Putting her on the bed doesn't help. Talking to her, scratching her doesn't help. Of course, she's also deaf and going blind. So, she has a lot to be anxious about, I guess. And then around 4 o'clock, she'll wake up and do the same thing. And feeding her doesn't help. Giving her food, putting her outside, none of those things help. You just have to wait for it to subside. And so I like my sleep, and so I'm having trouble dealing with this. And you say you have some ideas about what to do.
Yes, so Spiker does not like, in the car, does not like the expansion joints on the highway, because it goes that's ka-tunk, ka-tunk, ka-tunk. Depending on how the highway is made, they can be quite loud. And they are in the back of the car, in the cargo area. And Spiker will, because it's an electric car, I don't know if it's because electric car, but it's the kind where the back seats now, I've noticed in cars, go higher up. So there's not a whole big space between the cargo area and the back seat. The Spiker will climb over into the back seat and then try and climb on top of us because of this ka-thunk, ka-thunk, ka-thunk sound.
Oh.
And we tried, so we went to the vet and they gave us like trazodone and gabapentin. And you have to give it, several hours in advance. And it makes your dog a zombie,
Right.
So I'm not sure how we found out about this, but there is a company called Elevet, like elevator, Ellevet, Elevet Sciences. And you can buy them on Amazon or on their site. I will link to both of them. And they have proven CBD and CBDA products that really actually work. And they have clinical trials to prove it. But more importantly, they have just customers leaving reviews. And we have these chews that we give her, and these are considered incident chews. What are they called? Situational support for dogs. So if you get a tornado warning or a thunderstorm warning from your weather channel, you give your dog one of these chews, or depending on how much they weigh, ideally is 2 or 3 hours ahead of what's going to happen, the storm. And it really calms them down. And we use it in the car. So, okay, we're going to leave at 6 o'clock to drive the 3-hour drive back to New York City. So for 3 p.m., we give her 2 of these chews. And they're chewable. Some dogs will eat them. Sometimes you cut them up into some wet food. But it does work. She's not drugged out. She looks a little stoned, and then, but she just lays down, and then halfway down we stop and we take them up for a pee, and she gets back in the car. And it used to be she just didn't want to get in the car. And then they also have a day-to-day, I think it's mainly in pill form, another CBDA product that my sister uses with a Australian Shepherd that's pretty anxious. And it's not a cure, but it sure helps cut the edge off everything. And it might be 3 hours before you go to bed, you can give your Bhutan, she would probably get like half of a chew.
Yeah.
It might work. The product is not cheap. We get a can of it, and it's $100. It has 30 of them in it, I think. It's 38 count. Is $126. But to us, it's worth it.
Is it Elevet or Ellepet?
Elevet, E-L-L, like the person's name, Ellie, and then V-E-T, all one word. Elevet, Calm and Comfort Chews.
I'm seeing it here. Okay.
Yeah, not cheap at all, but it's not trazodone and it's not gabapentin, which are tranquilizers for animals.
Yeah, she's been trying trazodone, and that's not working so well.
I mean, $126 is a trip to the vet.
Yeah.
So
let me ask you, what is the difference between CBD and CBDA?
I don't know. They have a very deep site here. I mean, clearly it's a for-profit company, but they have a customer service number you can call 9 to 5 on the East Coast. They will answer your questions. It's a really deep site, and I don't think it's a bunch of bunk. Is that a polite word? But I am a fanboy of it, and it works really well. The price is pretty steep, but so, but you be able to sleep at night is very important.
Yes. Yes. Well, I'm going to give this a try because yeah, got to do something. Yeah, trazodone is it actually started off as a for humans as a antipsychotic, not antipsychotic, but for like depression and stuff, antidepressant.
Yeah.
It didn't work too good because it made them zombies, but now it's gotten into the vet world.
Yay! This is great. So the Daily Chew, they call it complete support for dogs. They have it in a soft gel, and you can put it in a little what's those treats called? A peanut butter. They look a little peanut butter treat. And you stick the pill in there.
A pill pocket.
Pill pocket.
Yeah.
Spiker at the beginning, Spiker would just take the CBD Chewy, the event-based Chewy, situational is what they call it. But now she won't eat them. So I take like a quarter can of wet dog food, and I cut the CBD thing into the dog food, and I give it to her. And it's kind of funny because then my scissors smell like pot, And I'm not a big pot. I have depression, so I actually avoid pot. But my sidewalk smells like skunk weed all the time. That's the urban experience. Yeah. But anyway, I am a fanboy. They don't pay me to say this. They have a bunch of reviews. The one that stands out here is I have my dog back,
Wow. Well, I'm going to give this a try. I appreciate the recommendation.
Yeah, I've sold you 2 products today.
That's right.
your break the window and cut the seat belt for $15, and this bag of treats for $100.
Yeah, you ought to put this on your Amazon account.
I will. If you want to buy from Amazon, the shipping will be faster, and if you have Prime, it's free. But I do like to support companies directly. I do have an affiliate relationship with Amazon, but I also like to support companies directly. And a lot of times I just order straight from the company. And they have they give a discount if you put it on auto ship, like Chewy does, Yeah.
One of the things I've done, I've taken your, this is just a shameless plug for you. I'll help you out here, brother. I've taken your Amazon store link.
Storefront link, yeah.
And just made it my standard on my, in my browser, just made it my standard Amazon shopping link. And
great. You bookmarked it. Yes, thank you.
That's it. That's the word I'm looking for. I bookmarked it. And so, I'm doing you a solid here.
Yay!
You've
done a lot for me, Rick. You've done a lot. You work for free. I love this.
Well, I just enjoy chatting with you.
Yeah.
Over the years, we've gotten to be good friends.
Have we met 3 times now, or just twice?
I think just twice.
Okay.
And I haven't met Nicole at all, and I feel like she's one of my best friends. So, you don't necessarily have to see each other face to face. You can just chat on the phone, chat on voicemail. Lots of good things around. Anyway, I bet people have gotten to where they're going to go.
Yeah, they got to the Costco.
Ooh, we recently got a Costco membership and went in there for the first time together, and I was almost a little sick. Do you know there are lots of people in there, and there are so many products. Oh,
yes, and you can buy a huge box of croissants.
We're avoiding stuff like that.
Yeah, please do. All right, so we're going to stick around for the after show if you're interested in being a patron, a supporter of Garden Fork, kind of like in the NPR model, a couple bucks a month, a cup of coffee a month is what I asked for. I do the after show for every podcast. We talk about some more interesting topics. We kind of let our hair down a little bit more because we don't have hair, I know. And there's more information about that. There's more information in the show notes for that. But if do you have a way to calm your dog or deal with the sundowner thing, that would be great. It's radio at gardenfork.tv. So go out and make it a great day, and thanks for listening. We'll see you guys.
Okay. Talk to you later, my friend. Bye-bye.
Garden Fork Radio is produced by Garden Fork Media LLC in Brooklyn, New York. The music in the show is licensed from audioblocks.com and uniquetracks.com.